You check the mail like any other day. Bills, flyers, a catalog you never subscribe to, but there's one envelope that stands out. No return address, handwritten, all block letters. Kind of like my handwriting. It's not me, just saying. Inside is a single sheet of paper, not typed, not signed, not polite. It accuses you of something, something only a few people would know. It names names, places, and dates. The hairs on your arms rise. You scan the street. No one's there, but you feel it. Someone's watching. This is exactly what happened to dozens of people in a quiet Ohio town. Their secrets were dragged out one letter at a time. Marriages collapsed. People died. And the person behind it all, still unknown. This is the story of the Circleville Letters. Circletown, Ohio, a town of about 13,000 back in the 1970s, is just south of Columbus. Quiet, middle class, the kind of place where everybody knew everybody, whether you wanted them to or not. And I kind of come from a small town like that where everybody knew everybody, and if you had a reputation, it definitely precedes you. It wasn't the kind of place that made national headlines, not until someone decided to start writing letters. It started small. A handful of people began getting strange, anonymous messages. The envelopes were unmarked, and the handwriting inside was printed in large block-style letters. Probably somebody going, "I know what you did last summer." If you get that right, okay. The tone wasn't threatening yet, but the content, that was another story. These letters weren't just rumors. They included personal, specific details, information that only someone close could know. Affairs, financial troubles, school secrets. It was like somebody was reading the town's diary. And the first major target was a woman named Mary Gillespie. Mary was a school bus driver. She was married to Ron Gillespie and had a good reputation around town. That changed when the first letter arrived. The letter accused Mary of having an affair with Gordon Massey, the local school superintendent. It didn't just accuse, it laid out times, dates, even locations. Whoever was writing knew her routine, her route, and her habits. Mary tried to keep it quiet. She didn't tell her husband right away, but then Ron got one too. And then another and another. Each one insisted the affair was real. Each one warned them to stop or face consequences. One letter read, "Gillespie, you have been warned. You better talk to your wife. Admit the truth and inform the school board. If not, I will broadcast it on CBs, posters, signs, and billboards until the truth comes out." And for those of you that don't know, CBs are like CB radios. You're able to just like pick it up, and truckers use them still to this day. It wasn't an idle threat. Hand-painted signs accusing Mary began appearing along her bus route. They were pulled down only for new ones to go up in their place. Someone was escalating, and they weren't going away. On August 19th, 1977, Ron Gillespie got a phone call. The caller said they knew who the letter writer was. Ron grabbed his pew and left the house, telling family he was going to confront the person behind the letters. He never made it. His pickup truck was found crashed into a tree. Ron was dead at the scene. The local sheriff ruled it an accident. They said Ron had been drinking and lost control, but his family insisted he didn't drink, and there were strange details. There were no skid marks on the road, no sign of an animal or obstacle. His gun hadn't been fired, and friends said he wasn't the kind of man to drink and drive, especially not on a mission like that. The coroner's report listed his blood alcohol level as 0.16, twice the legal limit. But Ron's family swore he never drank, at least not like that. The call he received was never traced. The phone records, well, never publicly released. Then came the kicker. Shortly after Ron's death, new letters started arriving. One said, "You should have listened. Ron paid the price." The anonymous writer wasn't done. They were just getting started. A few years passed. The letters slowed, but they never stopped entirely. Then, in February 1983, Mary Gillespie made a terrifying discovery. She was driving her bus route when she noticed a crude sign posted along the roadside. Another accusation, another attack. She pulled over to tear it down, but noticed something strange. Behind the sign was a box. Inside the box, a loaded pistol, rigged with string and rubber bands, designed to fire if the sign was disturbed the wrong way. A literal booby trap. Like from the cartoons, like stuff you'd see in Looney Tunes. She took it straight to the police. The gun had been altered, its serial number filed off, but investigators were able to restore the number and trace it. It led to someone close to the family, Paul Freshour, Ron Gillespie's brother-in-law. All right. Paul had helped Ron investigate the letters early on. He wasn't just family, he was involved. Close enough to know the details, close enough to know how to mimic the writer's tone if he wanted. Police searched his garage and found boxes, string, even the same brand of paper used in the signs. Paul denied everything. He took a polygraph and failed it. Experts claimed his handwriting resembled the blocky style used in the letters. That was enough to charge him. But in court, things were thin. The gun hadn't been fired, no fingerprints were found, there were no eyewitnesses, and Paul had an alibi, sort of. He said he'd been at work that day, but no one could fully confirm it. Still, he was convicted of attempted murder and sentenced to 7 to 25 years. Locals were divided. Some thought justice had been served, others thought it felt too convenient, too neat. But no one expected what happened next. While Paul sat in prison, something eerie happened. The letters kept coming. Same handwriting, same aggressive tone, same deep knowledge of the people in Circleville. They were postmarked from Columbus, Ohio, near the prison, but Paul was under lockdown. He wasn't allowed pens, paper, stamps, or visitors. His cell was checked regularly. Despite that, dozens of letters were mailed out. Residents got them, reporters got them, even investigators received threats. The psychological effect on Circleville was chilling. People became suspicious of their neighbors. Teachers resigned, and some residents even moved away. Paul's own letters from prison claimed he was being silenced. He said the system didn't want the real writer exposed, that he was a scapegoat. 60 Minutes aired a segment about the case. During filming, they received a letter themselves. It read, "Forget Circleville, Ohio. If you come to Ohio, You sickos will pay. The media started backing off. Too weird. Too real. Way too close to home. And the letters just wouldn't stop. So who was the Circleville writer? Theory 1 is Paul. Maybe he found a way to write from inside. Maybe someone on the outside mailed the letters for him. It's possible, but never proven. Theory 2 is a family member. Someone who knew enough to frame Paul, his writing, his materials, his history. It would explain why the gun came from his house, why the paper matched, and why it all looked just a little too perfect. The third theory, Mary Gillespie. Could it have been her all along? A reverse play to cover an affair or silence someone who knew too much. Again, no proof, but plenty of whispers. Theory 4 points the finger at law enforcement. A deputy was rumored to have had dirt on Mary. Some believe he wrote the letters to apply pressure or cover something worse. There was no investigation into that angle. Theory 5, a former school employee, someone who had access to bus routes, student records, and schedules. If they'd been fired or disgruntled, they'd have motive and means. But then if you think about it, what's that got to do with Mary as a bus driver? But the superintendent, that kind of makes sense. And theory 6 is there's multiple writers. That would explain the continuing letters being sent out. It might have started as one person, but then became a game or a vendetta, a web of silence, a shared secret. Even today, no one's been officially named. Paul was released from prison in 1994. He maintained his innocence until his death in 2012. After his release, the letters mostly stopped, but not entirely. There are rumors of one sent in early 2000s to a woman who had moved away from Circleville decades before. Same handwriting, same style, postmarked from nowhere. The town itself doesn't like to talk about it. Circleville holds a pumpkin festival every year. Tens of thousands show up, music and food and costumes, but never a word about the letters. Local history tours skip that part. Newspapers don't run anniversary features. Even old-timers go quiet when it comes up. One former resident said, "You don't bring up the letters unless you want to get one." Some wounds cut deep, and some fears never leave. If I get a freaking letter in the mail, I'm going to lose my mind. The Circleville Letters weren't a story passed down through whispers. They were real, documented, delivered, with chilling precision. They tore families apart, pushed a man to his death, and left a town permanently scarred. And the writer, whoever they were, was never caught. Maybe they were one of them. Maybe they were all of them. Or maybe they just knew that once fear takes root, you never have to send another letter. Because by then, the town starts writing its own. This has been Cracked Relic, and this was me covering the Circleville Letters. And I hope that you guys don't ever get one in the mail. As always, sources will be down in the description and coming up after this. Thank you for watching.